Hey everyone, we're back today. Very important day on all kinds of levels here. And today we're going to be talking about, are you a bag holder when it comes to stocks, trading stocks, and holding the bag and holding on to bad positions. So there's a lot to talk about today. And this is a really important one, especially if you're a beginner day trader or even if you've been trading for a while, just to hear what some of the community has to say. I had lots of people in my last video comment below about the emotions you go through when you don't follow your day trading plan and you end up holding the bag. And chances are there's really a lot of people out there that have gone through the emotions of that. Personally, myself, I've gone through it tons, so I'm going to talk about that. And we're going to cover a few other things today. We're going to do a recap today. And today, by the way, is March 8th. It's Monday. And we're starting a new week here. And last Friday, so last week, last trading day of the week, we had eyes, which I have pulled up here on the chart, pull one incredible move. And we're going to be discussing this. So get settled in and we'll take a dive into it. And you know what? We're also going to cover in this video as well. If anyone out there is using E-Trade platform for day trading, and as well as other traders as well on other platforms, I want to discuss best platforms and maybe have a great conversation with you guys to where you can leave some comments below, maybe give some recommendations. So let's dive into the first part of it, bag holding. Okay, like I said before, this is something that I did a whole bunch of when I first started doing when I was trading, and it's a very bad habit that you cannot get into. Um, Now, here's the thing that always happens is you make the decision to become a day trader, and that really implements a lot of a certain set of rules. And part of it is that um, you trade, you get in and you get out, sometimes within a couple seconds, sometimes a few minutes, sometimes even hours, but it's always within the day, always the intraday trading day. And bag holding refers to when you buy into a stock and it falls on you and you think, oh, let me just wait for the next run higher. And maybe it keeps dipping some more, so you're just like, oh, I'm just going to keep holding it. What happens is it goes to after hours, and then you don't sell there. Guess what? Now you're bag holding. You have to wait for the next day to open up to where you can sell that. And within that period of time, that evening, you've watched it all after hours. Then you get to thinking, you know what? I don't know how I feel about this trade. I'm gonna go now do some research. And what you find yourself doing, and I've done it plenty of times, you get on Stock Twitch, you get on Google, whatever, you're Googling the ticker symbol, and you're trying to find out what's going on. There's possibly some news that made the stock run, and but it's since had a huge dip, and you're curious as to what the hell's going on. And I want to distinguish two things because there's kind of two routes here. For the day traders, the small cap, for the most part of what I'm doing too, and I think a lot of other day traders would agree on this, is that we're not investors per se. Now we might have separate accounts where we do that, for long term. That's a separate thing. But for day trading, we're not necessarily interested in the background of these companies. So finding out, if they've got news, if it's a biotech, some kind of FDA approval, all the stuff that happens, as well as the numbers on a business. Is the business profitable? Whatever are its profit losses? All those important factors are, to me, more of the long term or the even swing trade routes. Okay, And so that means, if you're more interested on doing research on a company, finding out where they stand and finding out, hey, they might be a great time to invest, buy into this company, and sell it possibly 3 days, 4 days, a year later on potential big gains. And you've done your due diligence and your background on, okay, what is this company doing? What's the news about them? And you start going into deep analysis on that stuff. Now, once again, for me and a lot of other day traders, we don't focus on any of that. We're focusing on the chart pattern of the actual stock and the movement. And we're trying to get in here in any given day, make a trade to take the potential in the move of it. It's not that we're trying to invest for the long term or trying to capitalize way higher at some point, but it's that we're trying to get in and get out at some point and ride basically the wave of this momentum that it has caused from whatever the catalyst is. Now, catalysts are great. Of course, that's what moves stocks, and volume as well. How many people are trading it and how much volume is going through. And we're capitalizing on that momentum of these moves. So anyways, that's just little basics for you. But anyways, let's talk about what I did and the bag holding move I did. So in the past, when my first few years in trading, I would do this so often, is that I would buy into something on the rush high, on the rush up, the move up, and then I'd be in like a pretty big size position, and it would fall on me, and I'm thinking, oh, let's just wait till the next move higher and I'll sell it. And then guess what? That move never comes. It dips more, and either A, buy more, or just hold it, keep holding it. And then I feel like there's never the great opportunity to sell, just because it keeps going down at some point. And I have stopped doing that for a pretty long time now, probably more than a year. And it's really helped me out, because the problem with bag holding is that you get caught typically in a bad position and you're just waiting for that next move higher. And it could be a couple days, it could be, the thing is, you don't know if it's ever going to go back to where it could be way higher. You just don't know, and you don't know when either. It's a really hard thing to predict. And so I did that so much in the past that I really screwed up my account when I first started off. I'd have this chunk of cash, and what would happen is I would trade the big things that were moving in the market, and then I'd sell some of the ones that were winning for me, and some of the losers I would just go, oh, I'll just hold those and then sell tomorrow or the next day. And that loss never came around to be profitable. Now, there were a select few that did go in the right direction for me, and I did capitalize on. For the most majority part of this is I'm still holding some of those positions from years ago. And so it's the worst thing to do, because it hits you on the emotion side too. And I want to talk about, this is like the perfect example of it. And I wanted to shoot this video to update you guys on this, because Eyes is the one that I bag held on. And this is my first bag hold, technically speaking, since more than a year. And this is not good trading for me. This is bad habits, and I recommend that you watch this video and take notes if you're a beginner trader, because guaranteed you will get caught up in this kind of stuff eventually if you haven't already. And I think it's the best thing as a day trader to avoid it as much as possible and take your losses when they're small. And if you're on a losing trade, just take the loss and do it sooner than later, so that you don't lose even more money. So anyways, let's dive into this. This is what happened for me. On Friday, I was trading Eyes a whole bunch, and I did a whole bunch of trades on it. And I really made some amazing money on this. I traded from $0 all the way up to $2,000 on this thing. And it was because I was getting in and getting out, and I would take these nice little profit chunks along the way on this move up, right? And so I did that all day long, and then eventually I had a bad trade that put me down to like $600 positive on the day. So I was still positive, and anyways, I felt really bad about that trade. So what happened was I let myself kind of cool off for a bit, and once this chart, this stock here, it kind of curled back up. I watched it dip again, and I was waiting kind of for the next move, and I figured, you know what, let me hop into the next move and take a big trade on that. So that's exactly what I did. I saw this next leg up here. What I was trying to do was on this peak here, wait for just a little bit of a dip and buy in, and then wait for the next leg higher to sell it. And what happened was I got in at a pretty big share size, and it immediately fell really fast, really hard, and pretty violently. So just from there, I was down at a big loss at that point. And it faded a little bit more, and I thought to myself, well, let me pick up just another round of shares a little bit lower. That way, I can, as it dips lower, I'll buy in again, and then next time we get the next little pop, I'll just even sell for break even to get me out of this position. Well, guess what? It fades, I buy in, and just keeps fading. And so this is what happened to me on Friday. Now I'm caught, and I'm holding 3,700 shares of this thing. And instead of taking my loss and sucking it up, I decided, you know what, I'm going to hold out here, and I'll just sell in the after hours. As soon as we get a push up, a good size push up, I can hopefully hit my average price here and just sell for break even. And that never happened. So I just watched this thing all day after the market closed. Okay. Now here's the problem: is that when you're day trading, part of the beauty is the strategy is that you're selling, or you're buying and you're selling quickly, and you're leaving it there. And once you're out, you're out. You're not leaving anything on the table. You're not leaving any more risk on the table, and you're done for the day, which is great because you can go off, do your thing, and not be worried or stressed about where the stock's going to be the next day. And so anyways, I watched it the entire day, the rest of it, just waiting for something to pop up. And then we never got it. So what do I do now? Now I'm telling myself, well, no, I got to hold it through. And so what I'm trying to get to in this, for this entire video, this is a very important part, is that when you end up bag holding, it does so much damage to, or it's so, let me rephrase it. It's so stressful to be watching that and then not knowing where it's going to open up the next day, because I've had a lot of times where stocks like this, the next day they just open up and they're down at the floor. They're bottom. They've dipped so much, and they're just on their way right back down to where they came from. And with this one, I was nerve-wracked because the problem was I was so leveraged into this thing that I had maxed out my purchasing power. So I'm basically sitting in this trade after hours with all my buying power. And because of that, I won't be able to make any other trades going forward. So I know basically the future of this account is really relying on this trade. And that should never be the case for any day traders out there. You should never, be so levered into your positions to where you're using like 100, 75, or even 50% of your buying power within one given trade. I think for a lot of people out there, for day traders, the goal is to build the account. It's to start with something small and work and chip on it every day, and to build that account and to grow it into something big so that you can take, bigger and bigger sizes and bigger winners. That's I think the whole goal for a lot of people. And with this, once again, I was in 100% of my buying power, and now I'm held hostage. That's the key word. Is bag holding is basically being taken. You're a hostage to the stocks. And so last night, because of it, you know, or should I say this whole weekend, I was thinking about this the whole weekend and going, if this dips down below 5 and I have to sell at $4 or $3 or $2, I'm going to take a massive loss on my entire account. It's going to be like a $10,000 to $15,000 loser, possibly even more. And that's too much to risk. And the recap for today is, I lucked out. There's a lot of people that lucked out. And while it seems like, hey, maybe this is a great company, that's not the route I was taking. I was trading this on my day trading strategy, and I broke rules, and I got into a bad position. Now, if you're a long-term investor, you might be looking at this going, hey, the company's great. It's got this, this, and this, news, all this great stuff. That's fine if you're holding, and that's your strategy. If you knew you were getting into this and going to be holding, hey, that's great. But for day traders hopping into this and just hoping the next day that, it's going to be up, go up, that's bad news. And that's where I was. So I'm claiming honesty and to this, and being, trying to be transparent on the fact that I made a bad move, a real bad move, going in way too heavy on my shares and then bag holding this. Now, enough on this. We opened up much higher this Monday morning here, and so I'm happy to report I got out of this. And I didn't wake up at 6 a.m. I'm in Central Time, by the way, in Texas. I didn't wake up at 6 a.m. to open this up to trade it. I did sleep in a little bit, but anyways, I rolled over 7 a.m. and we still had, an hour and a half until the market opened, and pulled up E-Trade real quick as I'm in bed and see that I didn't even look at the chart. I just pulled up this position on my portfolio. I see the stock and I see that it's up a little bit over 8. And I just decided immediately sell, get rid of it. And I'm glad I did that. So here is the conundrum here. Is because it was up so much, I actually made $5,000 on this, which was it's an incredible gain. Like on a daily amount for me, 5,000 is a ton. It's a huge gain. And so while I'm very happy about that I'm in the green on this one, I'm just, the emotions and the stress that it causes, that they weigh heavy. And so I'm not happy about what I did here. I should be ashamed for this, and I am. And that's the way it goes. And I know a lot of you, I'm going to post my, or try to link my other video, my previous one about eyes and me bag holding up here somewhere, or I'll leave it in the description, one of the two. You can go check out that video. But there's a lot of people in the comments. I had that video really blow up because a lot of people watched it. I think it triggered a lot for a lot of people when it said bag holder on it, because a lot of people could relate to me on this. They got in at a bad price and they're holding because they're hoping it's going higher. And so I really appreciate everyone that left a comment in the last video and talked about their positioning on this, their bad positioning, where they were hoping it was going to be. But it really, if you go back and read all those comments, it really drives home that a lot of people can get into this and not follow the rules. And that's one thing. If you're following, once again, you're following the rules and you're like a long-term trader and you're buying in for the investment opportunity and the fundamentals here. But if you're day trading and it was just you got caught in a bad position, this is where you should feel a little guilty. So I know I do, but anyways, props to anybody out there that is watching, that watched the last video. If you commented Congrats to you for today because eyes was up huge today. So pre-market, we had a nice run up, nice steady run up. And guess what? I sold out early. I truly did. I sold at 8:05, okay? And I got $5,000 from it. And, it curled down and leveled off, but it did have a dip here too. So the reality could have been that, this thing could have dipped here and then just continued on and gone south. And had I gotten greedy and decided, ooh, it's already up at 8, let me just wait and it will go further, there could have been a chance it could have faded and gone right back down, and I would have lost out on that. So I just decided I'm cashing in, and I'm glad I did. I really am happy about this. And let me show you something, because it sounds weird when I say I'm happy about this, because I mean, over 5 grand is great as far as profit goes. But let me show you some numbers real quick. I was in at my average price from the bag hold. I was in at 651. Now let's say somehow magically I would have sold at the top here today, which, by the way, rarely happens. There's a lot of people, it's very, very difficult to ever find the peak of any move perfectly. Now you can find them, but to find them where they're going to exactly stop is, pretty difficult. So anyways, having no clue this thing was going to run all the way to what, 1485. Let's just say let's be conservative here, and let's say I sold it 14. Okay. So 14 minus what? My 651. Okay, $7.49 is the difference there. So what we do is $77.49 times the amount of shares I had. I had 3,700. Okay. Okay. Do you see that number? That would have been my profits right there. I would have made $27,000 today had I held on to this and, being conservative, just going up to 14, not even 1485, but 14. Okay. 27 grand. Now that for me, that might not be a lot for other people, but this is probably a massive amount for a lot of you people out there, including myself. This is huge. And the thing with day trading, once again, is hindsight is always 20/20. So you just never really know with day trading. And that's part of it. That's the realm. That's the truth of it. And I'm still happy that I was able to get out green. I left a lot of money on the table today, but I didn't want to get greedy and risk losing 10,000, 15,000. Who knows? So I know this is a long video for you guys, and I appreciate you, all of you are tuning in and watching. This is, really important stuff, and I just wanted to share my perspective on what it's like to bag hold. And I had broken this bad habit for a very long time, for almost more than a year. And this is my first time bag holding for quite a while. So I'm kind of happy about that stretch, but I need to get back to not bag holding this, because the real truth is, look, I should have sold when it made the first drop initially and taken my small loss. I might have taken $500 to $1,000 loss, whatever, because that always means I'm preserving my capital, and I'll be able to go in and trade it again later on, and potentially for a much better move. So that's what you're risking, and I risked a whole lot. I risked basically my entire portfolio on this, and had this not favored well today, I'd be crying pretty bad. I wouldn't be crying, but I'd be messed up, and I'd be sad about it and depressed and all kinds of stuff. And because that would have, ate up a huge chunk of my portfolio. So I'm glad to say I'm out of the weeds on this one, and congrats to all of you who profited big time on this, because I know a lot of you did. I know a lot of you actually held even further. So please leave in the comments. Let me know if you traded eyes. And I want to know if you were a bag holder from Friday. Let me know in the comments if you were a bag holder, what price you got in, and what price did you exit on today. Love to hear from you guys, so please let me know in those comments. And that's kind of where I want to leave it today. I want to talk about a few other things before I go here, but yeah, like I said, last video I shot, I'll try to link it again. A lot of great comments in there, a lot of people talking about all the bag holding they were doing, and a lot of people were relating to me in that. So it's really good to hear that a lot of times you're in the same boat as a lot of people. Doesn't make it better necessarily, but it's nice to know there's other people that, you know, have suffered or gone through the same thing. So let's all get smart. Let's try to work on our trading discipline and avoid these situations, because they do happen. They're going to happen sometimes, but it's a matter of getting more disciplined on your rules and staying away from the stuff like bag holding. So today we really did, a lot of us really lucked out, and that's incredible. And a lot of you probably made some serious money. So love to hear from you guys on that. One more thing before we go here. I wanted to trade a whole lot more today. Now I did not even trade eyes today. Sorry. I traded it pre-market to sell my bag hold right at 8. Got my $5,000. And the rest of the day, you know, I just kind of watched it go up. And the problem was this. I've got to hear from you guys on this one too. Let me know if you're using E-Trade, because E-Trade had all kinds of problems today. And I thought it was just me at first, but I had to call in to E-Trade twice to confirm this. But with E-Trade, let me bring this chart down. The market level data right here, it's called market depth. This is the market depth tool, and it's the level two. I cannot talk today. Level 2 tool right here. This shows the tape here, the buying and selling that's going on, and then it also shows the prices, the bid and the ask. Now, what I had was a big issue today was that E-Trade, like an hour after the market opened, the market depth went blank. Now, it was showing buying and sell orders like flowing through, but everything else was blank. Okay? So I pulled up different ticker names, I restarted E-Trade, and every time I pulled it back up, it was still blank. And so it's like there was a bad connection to the market depth, the bid and the ask prices, and it wasn't showing the data for that for any tickers. And because of that, I couldn't trade because I used my hotkeys to get in at those prices, whether it's the bid or the ask. And my hotkeys directly reference that that market depth. And so when I would try to put an order through, nothing would go through because it was blank. And so I couldn't trade. And it was the most frustrating thing ever, because here we are, eyes is really moving up. There's a whole lot of stuff that's moving. And for the first hour, I didn't have any problems of the day. And so let me show you what else I traded real quickly. Let's look at this. So I traded OPGN and ANCN. Those are the other two I traded. And so those were fine, but then an hour after like the market opened, it went into this issue and I couldn't trade at all. I even went to the lengths of actually uninstalling E-Trade Pro and reinstalling it, restarting my internet, restarting my router, everything. And same issue. So I called in E-Trade. They said they were having problems with their E-Trade Pro platform and the connections to it. And so today, I don't know, I'm like up huge. Here it is. You know, I'm up 5K plus, but I'm still very frustrated. I got a lot of like emotions and stuff that go on. just being locked out of trading basically and seeing all these other stocks move and really not being able to trade any of that. You know, I mean, just sitting on the sidelines the whole time. So I'm super pissed about that. I really am. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shoot another video here for you guys, talking about brokerages. We're gonna go over kind of this E-Trade problem, but I want to hear from you guys as far as using other platforms. I do have Webull. I don't use it because I have all my funds here in E-Trade, but I want to hear from you guys about your trading platforms, what you enjoy, what you hate about your trading platform. And I'm asking all of you who, use TD Ameritrade, Webull, Interactive Brokers, what's your favorite? What have you been using for a while? But I'll shoot another video on that, and want to hear from you guys on that one. So anyways, we'll wrap it up here in just a sec. I want to show you one more thing before we head out. Let's look. Okay, so I have 57. I ended the day at 5,744. Let's go into Monday here on the calendar. Let's enter that. 5,744. Great. Okay. So I looked out and it was not on good terms, and I'm admitting to that. I had such an incredible day today as far as gain, but I did leave a ton of money on the table, and I'm just pissed about my bag hold and the way that worked out, because you should never trade with your emotions and having to carry those through the next couple days, the week, or the year. And I have evidence. I have, a lot of stocks that I've been holding in my portfolio that I bought a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I'm still bag holding on and might not ever see it, see the price come back up, and I might have to eventually just, lose out on them. So it's not worth it. Don't do it if you're a day trader. So that's where I'm gonna leave it, you guys. Appreciate you tuning in, and just want to give big thanks to all of you who are watching, and those of you who commented on my last video. There was a lot of great talk from you guys. A lot of you were bag holding, and a lot of you, some of you were, actually investing in swing trading for the longer run, which is great. If that was part of your plan, if it wasn't, shame on you. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, putting those comments below, so we have some great community here. So that's it for now. Tune in tomorrow, and we'll see you trading again.